What we're going to do now is build the portfolio.html page. So if we take the about.html and duplicate it and call the new file portfolio, and then open that in Text Wrangler, and I'll increase the font size just for us to see better. Let's go to the website and click on portfolio. Okay, so this is our about page. When we click on portfolio, it pretty much looks the same thing as about because we just duplicated it. But here we will make our changes. The first change we can start with is the visual indicator in the navigation. So let's do that. If we go to portfolio.html, all we need to do is cut ID selected and paste it within the A element of the word portfolio. Okay, so let's save that, refresh the page, and that's it. So portfolio now is turquoise and underlined. Okay, that's because we placed the ID selected within the A element, the ID attribute, we placed it with the A element that is nesting the word portfolio. Okay, now the changes we want to do are, we obviously want to keep div ID container, we want to keep the intro section, but we can get rid of the other 4 sections because we don't have columns with skills and services and education and all that. We can remove those. Instead, what we want to do here is have a grid kind of layout of, again, 4 columns, but in this case, the columns are divided into cells, and each cell contains an image of a project and the title of a project. And if a user wants to learn more, they click on that image and it loads the entire project on a separate HTML page. So since these thumbnails are a list of items, I decided to use the UL element nesting the LIs and create the grid that way. So let's open the UL element and close it. Let's give the UL an ID portfolio. The UL is going to nest an LI, and the LI has a class projects. The LI in turn is nesting an image. Inside of the images folder, we have those thumbnails, and they're named 1.jpg, 2.jpg, and so forth. Now we want to make that image a link. That's why we will place it in the A element. And we want it to load a particular page. We'll call that page project a.html. Under the thumbnail is going to be, a small phrase which basically says the name of the project. So let's place that in a P. The P will nest an A, and that's because we also want the name of the project to link to that same page, project a.html. href equals project a.html. And let's give the A another attribute, the class, with a value p name, which means project name, and let's put here project name. That's it. So let's explain this one more time. We created the UL because we want to create a list of cells made up of thumbnail and project name. And the thumbnail will be on top, the project name will be under the thumbnail, and both the thumbnail and the project name will link to a page called project.a.html, project B, project C, and so forth, and will load the project on that page on a separate HTML page. Okay, so we're pretending here that we have 8 cells. And in that case, I will copy this li and paste it 7 more times. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. And let's just refresh the page. Let's save and go to portfolio and refresh the page. And this is what we have. Okay, obviously it needs work. We have to style this. So, but you know, we're on the right track. We have this thumbnail. When we hover over it, it's the cursor changes to the finger, which means it's a link. When we click on it, it loads project.a.html, which we haven't created yet, but we will. And project name also loads project.a.html. So that's wonderful. We have to get rid of these little bullet points created by the li. We also have to create our grid-like layout here and replace those images and so forth. Let's make those changes. First of all, let's change this word about to portfolio. You can call this my work, for example. It doesn't have to be called portfolio. It's up to you. Portfolio. Let's also change the numbers of those images. So the first image is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. We only have actually 4 images that you have to repeat. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you can say 2, 4, 3. It seems I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I missed the 8th. But let's see what we have so far. So refresh. So we have the word portfolio here. You can replace with my work. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7. We have to add one more li. But you see, these are the thumbnails. They look pretty cool. I got them online. Obviously, you have to replace them with your own projects. So I'm creating the 8th one. It seems I forgot to create it earlier. So 2, 3, 1. Okay. And then obviously you have to make the change here because they're all loading project A.html. The second one should be project B.html, project C.html, and so forth. But together we will work only on project A, and then you will do the rest if you like. So refresh the page, and now we have the 8 different thumbnails with the project name underneath. So let's go ahead and style now together. Okay, so let's go to CSS, and we're going to create a portfolio section. And we will place here the properties of the portfolio section. Let's start. UL pound portfolio. We always set the margin and padding to 0 because the UL has a default padding and margin. Okay, save this and let's see what happens. Okay, so we're good. We removed that default padding and margin. li.projects list style type none to remove the bullet points, and then text align center. The reason why we're doing text align center is because this whole thing is the UL. It contains an image and a text, and text align center is a property, again, if you remember, that we apply on block elements such as the LI that contains inline level content such as an image and a word, right? So now with text align center, these two must be centered within that cell. So let's refresh the page, and as you can see, that happened. Now let's style the project name. li dot projects space a dot pname, or you can just say a dot pname, that works as well. Color pound 32666F. Text decoration none. Okay, let's refresh the page. So this is it. It's that same blue that we're using many places. And now the hover, so I would copy this whole thing, paste it, and just add hover without any spaces, and then change the color to white. Perhaps white is not the best choice because white on this pastel kind of blue, you see when I hover, it's the dark blue is becoming white. If I were you, I would choose a different color, but you know, it works for now. Now remember that the styling properties that we just placed have nothing to do with layout. These are visual styling properties. In other words, whether we view the website from a desktop or from an iPhone, we always want the A to have a text decoration none. We always want the A upon hover to be white. We always want the LIs to not have a bullet point, and so forth. But we do not always want the layout of the website to be the same across all devices. In other words, if we have a wide layout for a wide screen, we don't want that same layout to be applied on a narrow screen. And that's basically what we insert inside of the @media syntax. So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to work on the layout of the portfolio page for a wide screen. So remember that that is happening under @media screen and minimum width 981 pixels, which means 900 pixels, 981 pixels and more, a screen with 981 pixels or more. We already have section.skills. Let's go ahead and continue styling now.